One of the questions that came to mind, you just issued new rules on allowing certain forms of construction to go forward, construction that was already in progress, already permitted. Last week and the week before, our two counties here, Douglas and Chelan counties, passed their own resolutions trying to push this forward as well. Do you feel like the rules that you've issued today are the kind of things those counties were looking for? Are they going to satisfy Eastern Washington County's desire for construction to reopen?
Well, I don't know, and this is an iterative process. This is one first step to reopening our economy, and we hope that there'll be more. So we're going to continue to listen to people about their ideas. I think we'll learn from these first steps. I want to compliment the unions that have been working with the contracting community to come to a consensus about what safety protocols will be so people would be safe when they work, so they're safe and they don't take disease home to their families. And they helped us come to a consensus about those protocols. So we're going to watch this in operation. Hopefully it will allow us to open up more construction over time as soon as we test out these protocols, and assuming that this would not result in any increased infection rate. And this is something we're intensely interested in. We don't want to see our gains. We have had gains. We have bent the curve. Washingtonians have been very committed to this in huge numbers, and as a result, we reduced the growth rate of the infection, but we don't want to see it to go back up. So time will tell. I'm glad we've taken this first step, and I want to thank everyone for helping us move forward on this.
Well, Washingtonians and Eastern Washingtonians in particular are very interested in recreation and very interested in hunting and fishing. And there's rallies that have taken place in the Tri-Cities area. There's one scheduled this weekend for the Wenatchee Columbia River area concerning fishing. When do you think limitations on things like fishing access could be lifted? And similarly, might our hunting seasons go forward after May 4th?
Well, we're considering those questions right now. We've had some good discussions in the last few days about that, and we may have more to say about that just in the next several days. All of these things were designed to reduce the interactions of people. When you're driving to the fishing hole with your buddy and you're interacting and you stop by the convenience store, the whole goal of these things was to reduce physical interactions. That has had a beneficial impact. We think we've reduced those by 50% or so in the state. And that has been a success because it has reduced the number of people who are getting the infection and the number of people who would otherwise die. We've lost over 650 of our fellow Washingtonians, as you know. This has been a very tragic event for so many families. So it has had some success, but now we believe we can look at opening up some of these things. And as I said, we're considering those next steps. And I know people want to go hunting and fishing. One of the happiest days of my life was I knocked him down Lake Victoria after a 5-hour hike up in the icicle drainage. So I know people are anxious. We'll make some decisions in the next few days.
Some of those sentiments having to do with hunting and fishing and the sentiments I've seen expressed about construction sort of come back to the idea that Eastern Washington and rural Washington are just distinct enough from urban Washington to perhaps live and play by different rules under the coronavirus pandemic. What's your response to that particular idea?
Well, we wish that this virus was just, walled off in the Puget Sound area, but it's not. We've had big outbreaks in Yakima. We've seen a meat packing plant in Tri-Cities have to shut down. We currently have a large outbreak in an agricultural workers camp in the Chelan area. Then Adams County had a very significant increase. So unfortunately, this virus crosses county lines, and it's very dangerous, and we've lost people in Eastern Washington. There's a lot of tragedies there. So I don't think it's so different that we should not be aggressive in our efforts. Now, there might be some things that we can have a more targeted approach, for instance, perhaps, and we've not made decisions on this, but like for elective surgery, we've looked at the possibility of hospital by hospital, if hospitals can show that they have enough personal protective equipment, they have enough surge capacity, it might allow us to relax the restrictions on elective surgery. That might help some hospitals in Eastern Washington and other places as well. But the fact of the matter is every community can eventually look like New York City if we don't stay on top of this beast. I'm glad Washingtonians are really committed to winning this battle. Failure is not an option here.
Every county in Washington has at least doubled the number of unemployment claims since last year, and Employment Security Department has had some trouble keeping up with the demand on the system. Do you feel confident that ESD is able to meet those needs now going forward? We're expecting more jobless claims this weekend, for instance.
Well, no, we have been deluged by this, tidal wave of applicants. This is like 7, 8 times more than at the height in a single week of the Great Recession. So we are building up our capacity to try to respond as quickly as possible to this tsunami. And we're hiring about 200 people a week to be able to help process those claims. The Employment Security Department has also adopted new technology to try to channel some of these inquiries to make them more efficient using new technology. But there is going to be, unfortunately, some frustration of people right now. I feel it deeply. Look, people are waiting for their claims. That's extremely frustrating. That's why we've dedicated every possible resource to getting the system to be as functioning as possible. There is good news is that we're told, at least as a few days ago, we were getting the checks out. Once the claims were approved, the checks were being delivered in a timely fashion. But we want to get the processing of the claims much more rapidly. And we're going to do everything we can to do that as soon as humanly possible.
What is all this? I mean, this has changed norms for a lot of people. What does this experience tell you about the ways that we live and the way our systems and our government operates in Washington, and how they might have to change permanently?
Well, I guess what I've seen is a lot of creativity. It's convinced me again that Washingtonians are a very creative, innovative people, and we have found new ways of doing business, certainly electronically. We have in our state government. Companies have shown that they can operate remotely with a lot of great success, frankly. I think one thing coming out of this is that we're going to find a lot more communication electronically, so we don't have to commute, frankly, and save a lot of money on gas. That might be one thing coming out of here. The other thing, as I've learned, is that when people work together, they can do really big things. I think Washington is as united as it has ever been around a central mission, and that's the mission is to defeat this virus. I saw a poll the other day, I think it was this morning, like 75 or 77% of people were committed to this mission and believe it has been a success. We couldn't get 77% to agree on, what day was Thanksgiving usually in the state of Washington. And we're seeing massive compliance. People are following this. They are staying home in large numbers. We've reduced physical interactions by maybe 50%. And this is really hard slogging. This is just tough. I mean, my brother and sister-in-law in East Wenatchee, they don't get to see, my 102-year-old mother-in-law as frequently. And this is hard work, but people are doing it because they understand that life itself is at stake. I'm just glad to be able to say how proud I am of our state right now. The rest of the country is paying attention. There are a lot of calls asking how we've been successful here. I'd like to brag about our state.
Governor, what do you think is the first thing that you will do when stay home, stay healthy is you're able to set that aside and you're able to do something that these ground rules right now forbid?
Well, I will go wrestle with my 4 grandchildren and then go visit my 102-year-old mother-in-law and take her some flowers. Looking forward to that.
Very good. I appreciate your time today, sir, and I wish you best of health.
Thank you. Wash your hands.